Coinciding with COVID-19, the death of George Floyd, and Joe Biden somehow capturing the White House, the world kind of went, well, batshit crazy during the initial years of this version of the not-so-roaring 20s. Indeed, political correctness and DEI reached new levels as woke, censorious thugs went out of their way to rename, rebrand, and reimagine everything they deemed to be offensive, even if it wasn't offensive. Case in point, in the sporting world, many native-themed teams went under the tomahawk. Canceled nicknames included the Redskins, Indians, and Eskimos. And CBC even stopped referring to the Chicago Blackhawks by its official name, the Chicago Blackhawks. You see, the CBCers simply called this franchise Chicago's NHL team, as though Blackhawk is a slur, and it most certainly is not. By the way, is this not truly the height of wokeness, given that Chicago's NHL team is not the official name of the team? So let me call out CBC's unofficial rebranding for what it really is: fake news. History is also being reimagined by being essentially eradicated. Here in Hogtown, Young Dundas Square was officially rebranded as Sankofa Square, even though nobody calls it that, of course. The multi-million-dollar whitewashing of Toronto's history was due to Henry Dundas falling out of favor with the leftist revisionists at Toronto City Hall. They connect him to the slave trade, even though Mr. Dundas was an abolitionist. Alas, it appears that Henry's sin was that he wasn't fast enough on the abolitionist file, so therefore he's a vile racist / white supremacist who doesn't deserve to be honored, and his name must be removed from city property. And so it is this significant chunk of downtown Toronto real estate now seems to be named after a brand of instant coffee. Actually, Sankofa is a word from Ghana's Akan people, meaning go back and get it. Go back and get what exactly? Oh, but never mind. The word supposedly symbolizes the importance of learning from the past to build a better future. And the concept is represented by a mythical bird looking backward to retrieve an egg. And this backwards bird thingy apparently signifies wisdom, heritage, and progress through reflection, not stagnation. I swear to God, folks, I'm not making any of this up. All this mumbo jumbo makes for quite the heap and helping of word salad, to be sure. But seriously, how is the city of Toronto connected in any tangible way with the nation of Ghana? Well, it isn't. Actually, I take that back. There is one valid connection. Ghana is a final destination for all those stolen vehicles originating in the greater Toronto area. But I digress. But here's the thing. If the leftist lunatics at Toronto City Hall want to get away from all this slavery stuff, why celebrate Ghana? In yestercentury, Ghana played a huge role in the transatlantic slave trade. Oh, well, to quote Emily Latilla,
never mind.
Yeah, in fact, you had better never mind, because even to question the logic behind this egregious rebranding will get you labeled as a racist by certain councillors. That's because critical thinking is verboten at Toronto City Hall under the stewardship of Chairman Chow. A stone's throw away from bird-looking backward square is my old alma mater, Ryerson University, but Ryerson is not Ryerson anymore. This institution was also rebranded. The university used to be named after Egerton Ryerson, but Egerton Ryerson, much like Henry Dundas, was smeared by the woke revisionists, falsely claiming he was somehow responsible for Canada's residential schools. And so it was during the George Floyd-inspired Summer of Love that Egerton's statue was torn down and beheaded on campus, much like several Sir John A. Macdonald statues were during that time period as well. These days, Ryerson goes by the name TMU, which sounds like a subway stop, but TMU is actually an initialism for Toronto Metropolitan University. Toronto Metropolitan University. Does it get any blander and unhistoric than that? But that's how we roll these days. We tear down the statues of men of substance, such as Egerton Ryerson and our first Prime Minister. And at Nathan Phillips Square, meanwhile, the statue of Sir Winston Churchill was relocated. He went from a prominent position on Queen Street to the rear of City Hall. If you want to see it, you'll have to look for it. But it's as though Sir Winston is something of an embarrassment rather than one of the greatest political leaders of the 20th century. And a short stroll away from City Hall is the Art Gallery of Ontario. Earlier this year, check out this statue that was erected outside the gallery.
This statue, it's 9 foot high, and it is entitled Moments Contained. I don't know, Moments Contained. Looks like a slacker to me. It appears to be a lady in a t-shirt and sweatpants and Nike running shoes. Here is what the Art Gallery of Ontario says about this particular statue. It is a, quote, celebration of shared humanity. Moments Contained is one of popular British artist Thomas J. Price's public sculptures that challenges assumptions about the purpose and expectations of monuments. End quote. I don't feel very challenged right now. I'm not asking a lot of questions about expectations, but then again, I'm no artist, it would appear.
Given that it stands some 9 feet high, a passerby might think this is a tribute to the sensational She-Hulk, but that would actually be an upgrade because at least She-Hulk exists as a character, albeit a fictional one. As for this masterpiece, the statue was crafted by British artist Thomas J. Price. It's called Moments Contained. And just who is Miss Moments Contained? Well, that's the crux of the matter. She doesn't actually exist. She's not even a comic book character. What you see is what you get, a chubby black woman decked out in a pair of Nike sneakers, sweatpants, and a t-shirt. One wonders, why does she look so angry? And where's she headed? My guess would be the food court at the local mall, even though a better destination would be the gym. But alas, I don't see her toting a gym bag. In any event, Moments Contained might just be the perfect statue for Canada under the Liberals today. For here we are paying homage to nobody and nothing. Miss Moments Contained has absolutely zero to do with anything or any idea or any invention. She's not an overachiever, but rather a fictional underachiever. She is the nameless queen of Slacker Nation, of no fixed address. She is a monument to inoffensiveness and blandness and nothingness. Then again, that does make her immune from being torn down by Antifa thugs and other violent reprobates. But seriously, I see nothing changing in the months or even, God forbid, the years to come under the Mark Carney Liberals. What's more, unlike the US, where this woke rebranding nonsense is no longer a fashionable concept thanks to President Trump, I don't see any political will in this country to reverse course or even tap the brakes. After all, C is for Canada and C is for cancel culture. So what, pray tell, looms ahead vis-a-vis rebranding in 2026? Well, without any further ado, I now present my predictions on what will be renamed and reimagined in the months ahead. Number one, expect certain provinces to be renamed. First and foremost, British Columbia. British is too colonialist, too imperialist, too monarchy. So expect British to be replaced by, oh, I don't know. How about some unpronounceable native name? How does Shunasassy, Columbia sound? Okay, I admit that Shunasassy is not a native name. It's actually the name of a character from a Clive Barker horror novel. And horror is an appropriate word these days when it comes to what's occurring in Canada, wouldn't you say? Especially in Lotus Land. I speak of those poor homeowners in Richmond who have been told that, hey man, you know that house you spent 30 years of your life paying off? Turns out you might not actually own that property due to preposterous Indigenous land claims. Ooh, hey, Stephen King, eat your heart out. As well, for the same revisionist history reasons, Prince Edward Island has got to go. I mean, Prince and Edward? How about we just abbreviate Prince Edward Island to simply Island? That's right. Going forward, this maritime province will be known as Island. It gets right to the point, don't you think? And it's so minimalist, kind of like the name Tarzan gave his son.
Now call Boy.
Oh, but that's not a name.
Boy.
Well, after all, I am his mother.
Tarzan father. Call Boy.
Works for me. Number 2, you know, great white sharks frequent Canadian waters, and that's problematic, methinks. No, I don't mean from a public safety angle, such as getting eaten alive. Rather, I speak of the words great and white being used in the same sentence. No. Not these days. So how about we rebrand the great white shark as, say, the great rainbow shark? Let's get honky out of the mix and at the same time honor the magnificent members of the LGBTTIQQAAPP community. Hey, so what that this shark only sports 2 colors, but these days it's all about diversity and inclusivity, while, of course, vilifying Caucasians. Now, if great rainbow shark is too much of a stretch, perhaps white supremacist shark does the trick, because methinks with the censorship bills looming in the new year, it will soon be a criminal act to mention great and white in a single sentence. Something's got to give, folks. Number 3, trans fats. Now, technically, a trans fat is merely a type of dietary fat, but really, how many young'uns know that? Because these days, trans is shorthand for transgender. And another thing, trans fat is a bad type of fat. Too much trans fat in your diet will increase your risk for heart disease and other health problems. That's a very big problem given the prevalent slogan in society these days, i.e., if it's good, it's trans, and if it's trans, it's good. Just ask Skate Canada. What I'm getting at here is that we can never associate anything that connects trans with negativity. Besides, fat is such a body-shaming word, isn't it? Today, it's very impolite to say someone is fat, even if they're a potential candidate for my 600-pound life. And besides, transgenders always seem to be the picture of health, both physically and mentally. Indeed, I don't think I've ever spotted a transgender who is fat.
I am the baddest bitch, period.
What's that line again? Godzilla heading to city center. Godzilla heading to city center. I don't know why I said that. I hope that wasn't somehow transphobic. The point is, when speaking of the aforementioned bad dietary fat, I think we should replace trans with cis. You watch, in the months ahead, trans fat will be rebranded as white cis male fat. You got a problem with that? And finally, number 4, the NCAA March Madness College Basketball Tournament. Well, it takes place in the US, but it does have a sizable Canadian audience. Thus, broadcasters north of the border will need some censorious strategy here to rename the tournament in politically correct Canada. After all, the term madness is widely considered pejorative and offensive. You will never see the word madness used in a medical or a professional context in Canada. So how does March psychosis grab you? Or March dementia? Or March schizophrenia? Oh, I get it. The alliteration is completely lost by dropping the other M word, but we just can't call mad people anymore. So there you go, folks. 4 surefire predictions for 2026 rebranding initiatives. In conclusion, I would normally say Happy New Year to one and all at this point, but 2026 is a reference to the 2026 years after the birth of Jesus Christ. That's just got to be offensive to somebody. So I'll just keep my mouth shut and I won't say anything no matter how much I want to. And really, isn't that exactly how the Mark Carney liberals want us to behave these days? If you can you go to rebelfieldreports.com? That's rebelfieldreports.com. And if you're able to, kindly make a donation.